Okay. Whew. Hey, yo, what it is with the beat? It's your man, Mark D.
It's your boy DJ Swerve.
Swerving on
You
your
did. And this is MTS Podcast. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 2. And we in this thing, man. Appreciate everybody that's been supporting the first episode and just the whole start of the podcast to begin with. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
And yeah, man, we're back again. Unfortunately, due to some very heavy times, if you want to put it that way. It's a whole lot going on, and most of it isn't the most light and heartfelt type things going on. And how you want to get into it, bro? Like, what part of this you want to start on? Because it's a lot.
I feel like we should go with the elephant in the room, man. You know, so much injustice happening, just all the way around the black community. Yeah, really, anybody that's not white, honest to God, like just keeping it real.
And
but
first off, rest in peace, George Floyd, of course. And all others have been affected by police brutality and like thereof. So yeah,
it's just tough, man, because it's like getting bullied in school, and you try to tell, you tell your teacher, you're getting bullied. You tell the principal you're getting bullied, and then eventually, nothing gets done, and so you just gotta take matters in your own hand, and you punch the bully in the face, and it's action that happens after that. Either you get suspended, or you get expelled, or I don't know. But that's how it is right now. It's been like that for like over.
Oh wow!
You know what I'm saying? Segregation ended in the '60s, bro. So that was when the civil rights. They put that act down in the '60s, and that's only
60 years ago.
Yeah, bro. So we ain't too far away from that.
Ridiculous, and they wonder why you act out after being bullied. Yeah, and make it seem like you're not really getting bullied. Everybody's getting bullied. Yeah, in the sense that when you put it there in quotation, you can say that's what people that be saying all lives matter and such things like that. Right. It's just, man, to keep it a whole buck, bro. Like I told you before, I've just been feeling heavy recently. Yeah. I didn't want to talk about it at first because, like a lot of people, it was saddening to see. And then after the sadness came about, then anger came about. Right. And then you can see how, even though it's not mostly people protesting, you can see how the protesting turns into some people looting and rioting. Even though it's not mostly protesters looting and rioting, you can understand if that was the case. Right. Because you doing that with anger, at some point, you're going to channel that anger into something else. Yeah. And then I end up seeing somebody with a post that was like, why would you riot or end up looting after protesting on police brutality? And it was weird because it was a SpongeBob meme, but it had legit points. It said looting and rioting starts to happen when people put profit and value in other things and material things over human life, which is what police brutality was doing, over dude not caring over their lives. And so you can understand why people would do that. I don't know the answer on what you should do. I can't tell you how to feel, and I can't tell you what to do on the way you feel. Yeah. Me personally, I don't feel like rioting and looting and stuff is the way to do it. But then again, like I said before, I understand why you would do it. But you got to see what type of change will come after you doing it. Yeah, that's true. It's just hard to really get a grasp and understanding on what you should do and how you should act. Yeah. When people say you should strategize and mobilize, that's why I even retweeted with a message when I saw Killer Mike. And I really appreciate somebody like that, especially in the hip hop community, right, that can articulate the importance of what he said from different things. When he said strategize and mobilize as far as coming together and doing things and not burning down your own communities. Yeah. It's like, bro, at some point, it's nice to see somebody that can articulate points like that when you angry and you can't really express how you really feel. Yeah, true. You know how to get it out. Yeah, you need time to sit down and think about it, because your first innate action is going to be like, man, I want to fuck some shit up to keep it a bean. And then you even brought it to me earlier. It's like, is your company or your job or anybody you working with is bringing up this fact of even talking to y'all about it or how you feel. Right. And the fact of the matter is, they only bring up the fact about the protests, and they did not come to us about how we feel. And you got to understand, man, in most of these places that you work in, just being as a black person in general, rather if it's riding in the car and seeing police or even working, you have an understanding in the back of the mind, bro. Some people just don't give a damn, bro. They don't really give a fuck.
They don't give a damn, or they don't know how
to care,
because like the leadership is majority white. You know, that's the leadership, and it comes off like people want that relationship to be, you know, oh, you just this white guy that's over me, and sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes it is, but sometimes there's just some like white guys or managers that actually care. And you know, the main thing is just getting them to understand the importance of having that dialogue with the black workers, just the people in general, not even just the black workers, just everybody, because you know, people, they have some black best friends. You know, it's just, but you have to have the talk. The dialogue has to happen. And I understand keeping work strictly work, but sometimes issues bleed into that have to be talked about. They have to be talked about because that affects your work. You know, if you feel like you're just another number that's just making the company money, or you know, just whatever you do, and you feel like, you know, your manager can care less about you as a person, that's a slap in the face. You know,
especially when the work has to change and make adjustments due to the fact of protesters and other stuff.
True.
It's like, I understand people feel certain ways and they may end up caring. It's just, yeah, no pun intended, Karens.
Facts. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
You guys.
But it's just, like I said, it's kind of hard to grasp the understanding and just having a dialogue with it, because I had to have a talk with a coworker of mine on how she ended up feeling. Like, I had to ask her how she's doing, because I could tell that she was heavy-hearted over the situation. She was like, man, I've been crying for 2 days.
Right.
And it's like, I'm sorry that you feel that way, and I understand that. And then we got to be there for each other most of the times.
Yeah.
Even though they say it as most people that's not part of the situation to fully understand the hurt that comes with it, is they don't understand the feel of like just even coming to somebody, seeing how you feel about it.
Right.
Because like I said, man, most people not role models intentionally. Some people are role models unintentionally. I think I'm a role model unintentionally. Yeah. You were a role model unintentionally.
First.
Just out the sheer fact of what you do with people that watch and see what
your
you
character.
do. Yeah, and like I said, and I gotta tell certain people and certain things just off the sheer fact of being black that, bro, it comes with being in the car and getting stopped by police. It's not even the fact of a fear. It's just a worried understanding that this shit can go left for no reason, off the police pulling you over for no reason. And if you don't understand that, it's hard to explain to understand that.
Yeah.
Because you can get pulled over and have no type of history, no type of record or nothing, and comply. And off the sheer fact of they pull you over and then ask you for your ID and your insurance, if the first response is, why are you pulling me over? Things can go left just off your first response. Because they say you're not complying because you didn't say you was gonna give us your registration, give us your license and your insurance. The first thing you said was why. That can go left. Even if you do everything right in that situation, they don't even ask them why you got pulled over and just give them your license and stuff like that. They will wait for something to happen that can trigger you in some form of way just so they can have a reason. And I'm not even talking about the fact that somebody probably being in the car with you where they pull you over for no reason and you good, and then they ask that person for an ID and they can be in some type of, you know, problem or have had some type of history, and just wait for them to make a remark and then ask them for their ID. Then all of a sudden that person snaps like, what you asking me for my ID for? I'm not even driving. And then they can go left from there. It's so many factors that you can have. Yeah, it's so many factors that things can go left just by being black or by being pulled over by the police. And that's just being pulled over by the police.
Right.
The George Floyd situation was one situation that was being pulled over by the police of something that's probably even minuscule, if that's the fact he said something about a forged check.
That's worse than a traffic ticket, bro.
Yeah, and then they even brought up the fact of why was that man on the floor when he was complying on the first video they saw when he got put in handcuffs. And I was told, I have not seen, that they put him in the car, began to beat him up in the car, and then took him back out of the cop car, and that's how he ended up on the ground.
That doesn't make any sense. Now I already think about it, because I saw that video. It's a video of him being in the car, and they actually beat him up in the car already.
Then took him out.
And for whatever reason, he gets out the car, and that's when, that's how they end up on him. And just even the way that his leg is on him, I've seen like that teacher that got fired.
The wrestling teacher.
Yeah, for trying to demonstrate what he was doing. It wasn't even the same spot of his knee where you see the knee of that cop in George's neck.
And that person trying to demonstrate that will probably have his knee in a place that he's comfortable with.
Exactly.
We're not even talking about the fact your hands is behind your back handcuffed. Why are you face down on the concrete?
Yes.
Which means it's probably hard for you to breathe to begin with when you got pressure on your neck. Not to mention you got pressure on other parts of your body, which makes it harder for you to get oxygen throughout the rest of your body and blood flow outside of your brain. It's like they on his neck, his chest, and his back. It's like you putting pressure all over his body.
He's literally if you look at the video, his foot is off the ground. You do that when you're putting pressure. Me and my brother used to wrestle all the time. Shout out Spence. We used to wrestle all the time. And I'm familiar with a knee being applied with pressure. If you look at that video, his foot is off the ground to apply more pressure to his knee being on his neck, bro. And it's like it's just that was we watched murder. We watched a murder happen right before us,
and recently they just said they changed the charge from 3rd degree to 2nd degree, and they finally end up charging the other police officers that's part of it as well, and which they should be. I mean, because at any point, bro, if it was, let's say, a black person or a black cop in that situation, I feel like it wouldn't have gone down that way, because most black cops have some type of empathy or sympathy, man. Bro. Yes. In regards to that, it was like, yo, come on, bro. I understand you doing this. This man is on the ground. He's handcuffed. Does it really take 3 people to be on this man's body on top of the fact being on his neck like that? It's like, bro, y'all got control of the situation. What is the point of this? And so, yeah, man, it's just heartbreaking. Yeah, man. End of discussion. It's a heartbreaking situation, and we didn't want to come here to talk about it, but the fact is, you have to talk about it to inflict some type of change in another conversation that's gonna bring the change. And yo, when you think about why, it's just, I don't know what they call it, but you could say irony how Cap ended up kneeing. Yeah. Because of police brutality, and then the dude ended up killing him with a knee on police brutality. Yeah. And then it's another picture where they says you have the right to protest, and then they got black folks on there. It's like, no, not this way while marching down the street. No, not this way while kneeling in the NFL. No, not this way by talking political on the NBA stand.
How do we do it?
It's like, bro, at what point, how can you protest freely? It just seems like we got the right to protest in the way that y'all feel like we can. Yeah. And if it's not the way that y'all like, we can't protest that way. Like, man, it's just sad. It's really sad, and it's upsetting, and it shines a light to what society is in America.
2020. Man.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It's a lot, man. And I know y'all going through it just like a lot of us is going through it, on having to deal with it, and the way that you deal with it, have to explain it to your kids, or have to explain it to your loved ones or your friends and your families to help them understand it. And some of them won't understand it. And then if they don't, then just move on. I can say it that way until they finally will understand it. And whichever way that may be.
If they don't understand it, you can always cancel them. Speaking of that, there's been a few celebrities that came out, said their piece about it. Noticeably, I want to talk about Trina, Drew Brees, Tokyo Jets, and of course, Mr. Cheeto.
Mr. Cheeto. President Cheeto? Damn.
Chester. Out top, man, Trina, I don't think you've seen it. Have you seen it?
Nah, I've seen people talk about it.
Okay. Basically, she didn't let Trick Daddy say, she just bombarded the conversation basically saying that the protesters are animals, and, this isn't how you're supposed to do this, and it's a lot of pretty much just talking about the the protesters and the of course this is going to be looting that's going on with the whole situation. So I see what she's trying to say, but her delivery
was not it.
And in 2020, June 3rd, 2020, sensitivities at an all-time high.
Very.
Like, this might be the most sensitive time frame about saying something about somebody or something that can be misconstrued, or not misconstrued, just taken the wrong way completely, like left field. So you have to be so careful with the things that you say, and you have to remember where you come from. That's how I think about Trina, her Trina situation. It's like, yo, you come from Florida. You come from, like, people just getting out the mud. And not saying these looters are getting out the mud, but, like, these so-called animals that you're calling, like, these are your people. And these are the people that buy and support you as an artist. It's not, I've never seen white people be like, yo, I'm jamming that new Trina. I'm, like, just being real. And it's like, you have to be, that's your fan base that you're talking about.
Yeah.
What you call filling out the room or filling the room?
Oh yeah, you need to fill the room.
That's the title of the podcast. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Then fill the room out. Fill out the room. Yeah, bro. You know what I mean. I'm tripping. Read the room, bro. Yeah, you got to read the room.
Read the room.
It's just, it wasn't the time for that. And then you can even go to like Drew Brees and what he ended up saying. Like what because you just
got
told me about
teammates,
that.
Bro.
Yeah, and what did he end up saying? It was something about
he bothered about disrespecting the flag. Disrespecting the flag is like
it was regarding the kneeing.
Yeah,
during national.
I feel like it was just anything. Just like his purpose was to say it was wrong to disrespect the American flag. But the only reason you're even talking about this is because people are kneeling during the national anthem,
and that was
and
not
they're
the point
kneeling because of police brutality, and that's what the conversation should be about. Point blank, period, bro.
What's funny about that is that conversation got brought back up because the cop killed a black individual, aka police brutality, off kneeing.
Yeah.
And it was hearkening back to the fact that Cap was kneeling because of police brutality.
Bro.
And he still went back to the fact of what media tried to spin it back as disrespecting the flag. And he went to that.
That's all it is. It's a spinoff, bro.
It was literally in your face. He's like, we're telling you what the issue is, and you still went back to that. It's like, yo, you kind of tripping right now, bro. He's like, I set the table. I made the food. I gave you the forks, bro. All you had to do was eat the food.
Jesus. Like, bro, like if you don't understand like why he was kneeling and you're in the NFL, bro, what the fuck are you doing? It's
like, yo, read the room.
Yo, what are you doing, man? Like, you have like teammates. Of course, they're gonna feel a way about that, man. You think your offensive line is gonna care about you getting hit after a statement like that? This is Drew Brees. He's a quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Your O-line.
Like that post you was talking about Hi Davis. He was like, this is the only play you need to run. Blitz his ass.
Engage 8.
Blitz his ass.
It's just, I don't know, man. But yeah, Drew.
Some people can't, like we saying, some people can't read the room, bro.
Drew, come on, man. You play for the Saints, bro. You know they go hard for their fans.
Louisiana, baby.
Tokyo Jets.
Oh, bro, you just told me about this shit, and it's ridiculous.
Basically, that was joking with a friend on live. She said, "I'm not going to don't make me George Floyd you."
Yo, when you talk about too soon, it's too soon.
It's not even too soon. It's like, that joke is never to be said.
No, that's one of them. On top of the too soon, bro, you don't even play like that. What's funny is I didn't know what she said, but I saw her apology where people was tweeting and dragging her. It was like, bro, I didn't know she said that. And that's just ridiculous.
And she's, bro, oh God, it just hurt. She's clever. She's an artist. She has to be clever. She has to think about things that she says. So if she said like this joke's in her back pocket in the chamber, ready to let that hoe go. And that was the most sickening part about it, bro. Because it's like, she has a black child, bro. You have a baby, a black kid, bro. And for you to even think that this would be funny, or because that's the only reason you say a joke.
And you can think about it, bro. Some people do shit like that just to see if they can get talked about as far as marketing, which is a whole nother bag that's not even a go-to bag you should go to, bro. That's just not the move.
That's not worth it.
It's really not worth it, bro. Especially as a black individual, it's not worth it, man.
Ain't worth it.
Now that's just ridiculous, bro. Why?
Yeah. And you under T.I.?
Yeah, you out of all people.
T.I.
Like I said, lady, you are expeditiously tripping right now. The little gall that you have to speak so disrespectfully to the black individual that you just spoke about is just beyond me. It's like, it's ridiculous. Come on now.
He's the president of Grand Hustle.
What about the president of Petty and just bad timing and all kinds of stuff? The Cheeto president, man. It's like
Master Orange, bro. He's inciting a race war at this point.
Yeah, bro.
It's obvious as day.
You know what's interesting too? Where I watch different podcasts all the time, and then Joe Rogan brought a nice little point. He said he didn't agree with George Bush, but when 9/11 happened, he spoke in a way that calmed Americans down to understand. It's like, bro, when it comes to all Americans, I can see and you speak in a way that can make all Americans feel comfortable and know that we'll get through this. Obama was the same way, and it was not even the same way. It was a better way than how he ended up carrying himself in different ways. Not just even in the times of peril, just in times of, when I say calamity, well, calm, put it that way, in times of calm. It's just, when it comes to him, he cannot read the room, bro. Regardless of it, he will speak on certain stuff that will incite the worst out of everybody, and then even not out of everybody. Well, you can say even out of everybody, because he will incite different stuff that will incite different races to make black people even more angry, and then they'll say even stuff that even if it's remotely beneficial to black people, it's still a certain jab that he throws. How somebody just somebody reposted the fact that he's talking about black people, talking about, what do you have to lose? You at the lowest job points. You can't get a job. Your education is. I'm like, bro, what are you doing, bro?
This guy is like the true definition of white privilege. Because if Obama said half of the things he said as the president, bro, get out of here, fam. Are you serious? Like and it goes back to, that's the one thing I will say I appreciate about Trump. He actually is what you get. Like you see him and he gives you what you expect from him.
Yep.
Like he's not doing anything to surprise you, nothing like that. This is what people expect. This is why people are crying on election night, because they saw this coming.
Then people that
he didn't disappoint. Like,
man.
He is what he says he is at the end of the day.
I know it's a classmate that rides for him that Sliz was telling him about, was getting drugged on Facebook. I don't know the reason why he rides for Trump the way he does. He probably has his own reasons. I'm not going to drag him to the ground because he, rides for Trump. Yeah. But then again, bro, he needs to understand the fact, or many others need to understand the fact that this man is the representation of America.
Right.
Good and bad. And it's very much so less good than it is bad. And just know what you hearkening and riding for, man. That's all I'm about to say. If you got black friends, you got minority friends, you got even white friends. America is America, but it's a whole lot more countries that sit in America, that's on this earth other than America, bro.
They watching us.
And it's not even just watching us, they watching Trump.
They watching, he's the face. He's the face, and that's what we giving off.
It's not the best representation, and it's not a good representation on top of that. And the representation that he's really representing is money, bro.
And hatred.
And yeah.
Off of that, with the protests and everything like that, we're getting the COVID cases from Mother's Day.
Frequently.
I think we're getting it's been, I want to say 2 weeks since Mother's Day, I believe. So I think all these reports coming in from the rise numbers, I think that's from Mother's Day personally. So realistically,
when they just opened everything for that weekend to make sure they get as much money as they
money
could.
grab.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking from the protests and stuff like this, things are projected to get worse.
Oh no, without a doubt. Even it's very nice to see everybody coming together to protest.
Yeah.
But you gotta remember COVID went nowhere. No vaccine, no nothing.
Yeah.
So many people ain't thinking about that. And you just gotta protect yourself while you out here.
That's it.
And you gotta survive. And it's another reason why I post it. And also I say this all the time. How people say life is not a movie, but movies are made off life experiences. And you got to look at Do the Right Thing, bro, with Spike Lee. And that's why I appreciate Spike Lee and other black artists and entertainers that give a representation of what society is to this day. And they even did it, bro, where Radio Raheem got killed. And everybody was pissed off on the block. Yeah. And they got to the pizza shop that everybody used to go to, including Radio Raheem used to spend his community dollars just for some pizza. And they didn't want to accept him. Called the police on him. He got killed by the police. And they was ready to riot. So Mookie ended up starting the riot to get it pretty much burnt down and rioted. But he told him at the end, he was like, man, pay me what you owe me. I'll be back at work when this shit is built back up. You got insurance. You can get your store back. You can't get that man's life back. It's the same issue with George Floyd to this day, bro. And it's just, I appreciate stuff like that, bro. But yeah, man, it's been real heavy-hearted. Let's go to some other conspiracies outside of the conspiracies of them putting bricks on the streets.
Speaking of movies.
Yeah. What kind of conspiracy do you got going? Movie conspiracy connection that you got.
I got one for you.
Oh,
and I'm happy you got that shirt on too.
Yeah, it's Boys in the Hood.
Boys in the Hood.
Oh, wait a minute.
So my thing is
your theory.
I believe Cuba saw what happened in the hood.
Yup.
He wants to get away from that. So he actually did. He found the Lord.
Okay.
He found the Lord.
He found
Fighting Temptations.
Oh,
hello.
You don't say.
Hello.
You even met him a baddie named Beyonce. Oh, wait a minute. Oh man, that's what's up. Yeah, he was like, I'm gonna have to go and do it for Ricky.
Facts. So that's what I got.
Okay. Well,
I'm still digging in some more, but yeah, that's the main one I got.
A little bit more research, but hey, that's still a good connection right there. Though. That's a nice connection. It's bro, you making me think big too. Even after he did that too, he was like, you know what? I'm gonna play football for my partner Ricky. You know where I'm going at. He had to show him the money. He became cold with football to make him show him the money. To the fact he got to it, you already know. But I'm not even gonna go that far, man. You got me digging deep into the theories. Nah, but I'm gonna go into Queen Mother in Black Panther.
Okay.
Before she became Queen Mother, you know, in Wakanda, they got war dogs. And war dogs are spies that's sent all over the country. Okay. So back in her day, Queen Mother was a war dog. She got sent to New York City. And within New York City, she ended up she found out something that's going to connect with the MCU later on. She found out about vampires. And that'll be vampires in Brooklyn. So she was a war dog in the police force and she found out about vampires. So later on down the line, when Blade gets introduced, she already know about vampires because she was a cop and got introduced to Eddie Murphy, who was one of the first vampires.
Bro, you did not this time.
Vampires in Brooklyn with Marvel movies. What are you talking about? Queen Mother know about the vampires. She just ain't saying nothing because it ain't got there yet. She already knew about them. But you understand the theories get deep, my brother. You got to think about this. Yeah, man. Movie conspiracy connection, just like that, man. Right. So we gonna have to end it off with something light, you know, to bring your spirits up and smile, and even think about some other stuff too, other than all this madness in this United States being on fire at the moment. Yeah, man. But yeah, we gonna cut it off right there. We appreciate y'all coming through and rock with us once again on episode 2. It's your man Marty.
Hold on, bro. Hold on, fam.
What's happening?
Can you please talk about the NBA?
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Just really quick.
Oh yeah, we got it. Let's do it.
So NBA coming back, guys, or supposed to be coming back. This is how they gonna do it. NBA's inviting 22 teams to Orlando. Yeah. 13 Western Conference teams. Only 9 from the East. Ain't what you want to think.
How many teams is it total? 30 or 32?
What was that? No, it's 22.
No, I'm talking about teams in the NBA in general. It's 30.
30.
15 and 15.
Yeah.
So 12 of those 15 in the Western Conference
13
will be
13 of them things.
Oh my
13 Western Conference, 9 from the East.
Oh, so 2 of them at the West. Bro, what does that say about West versus East? Over that whole time.
It is what it is. But the crazy thing about that, bro, the Eastern Conference has the championship this past season.
Yeah, they do.
With an asterisk by it. But, it is what it is. But 9 Eastern Conference teams, 8 regular season games per team. Play in for 8. They play for the 8th seed between those teams that will be in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. It's going to be from July 31st to October 12th.
Okay.
So I know the normal NBA season starts around Halloween, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So I don't know when the next season will start, but at least we're gonna have basketball back.
Yeah, the next season is gonna be cut short, which is actually gonna be dope because it's gonna put more incentives on the regular season, like everybody's been wanting.
Right.
So if the season doesn't start, let's say until late December or January,
yeah,
and it's gonna end like like it usually end, like what is that, April? So you got January to April to make the playoffs. Is gonna put more of an incentive on regular season games.
There we go.
That's one of the benefits I can see towards that, because they're not keeping that.
No.
They're not gonna keep that, because if 13 out of 15 of all the Western Conference teams are gonna be in the playoffs and only 9, that, bro. If that was the case, then it might get to the point where it'll probably be 14 and then 8. And then who knows, because the Warriors is at the bottom of the list. They're not going to be at the bottom of the list next year.
They're not.
And
something's going to happen.
It's still going to be interesting. I'm ready to see basketball come back.
Y'all comment on how y'all feel about basketball coming back. Comment what y'all think this whole outcome going to be. And definitely subscribe.
Yes, sir.
Hit that red button. Hit them thumbs up. Just stay in the loop. MTS podcast, man.
Straight like that. And we going to end it off like that, man. At Mr. Mark D1.
At DJ Swerve 972.
Yes, sir. And at MTS POD _, man. We get with y'all next